metric. Something that's observable would be your job title, what your salary is per year, how many people know you, your bank balance, the size of your house, the car that you drive.
Things people can see.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
The only way that your success can be judged is outwardly. So naturally, we trade something which people can't see for something that they can see. For instance, lots of people would trade a longer commute for a higher salary or a better job title. One of the problems that you encounter with that is that the length of your commute is one of the most correlated stats with your happiness. Longer commutes reliably make people more miserable. And what's the hidden metric that you've lost by doing that? Well, that's less time with your family, with maybe your kids that are growing up, with your wife to connect. That's less time to pursue your own passions, even if your job is your passion. So what about a more stressful career? Going to move into a different industry that's way more stressful, but it pays more. Observable metric. What's the hidden metric? Well, what about the peace of mind that you have as you go to sleep at night? What about what that does to your health and the quality of your relationships and your ability to be present on a weekend? So you're not able to turn your phone off because your last job was 9 to 5, but this one is 24/7. Well, it's difficult to say because you're like, people want and need real resources. I want to improve the quality of my family. That's a noble thing to do. But after a while, you have to admit, if you already live a comfortable quality of life and you trade it, you trade your happiness or your peace in order to get more, you're making a bad choice because you're going to sacrifice something that you want, which is happiness, peace, connection, for something that's supposed to get the thing that you want, which is money, job title, bigger car.
Which I think links to the story of the Mexican fisher.
Yeah. Parable of the Mexican Fisherman. An American businessman was away on a holiday in Mexico and he got taken out by a fisherman. And he asked the fisherman, so what do you do each day? The fisherman said, I spend each morning out on the water. I fish a little. I catch some food. I take it home and I sit in my house with my wife and my family and we eat what I've caught for the day. The American says, that's stupid. This is a stupid idea. What you should do is you should get a bigger boat and then you could catch more fish and then you could go sell it at the market. The fisherman said, why would I do that? So, well, once you've sold it at the market, you could buy some more boats and you could get your friends to come and work for you and then they could catch more fish and you could start to sell it wholesale. The fisherman said, why would I do that? So, well, then you could create a canning factory and you could export it back to the UK and you could have a huge business. The fisherman said, why would I do that? So, well, then you would be able to retire and fish a little on a morning, catch some fish, and then spend the afternoon with your family. And it's the same lesson as Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist, which is this young boy goes on a huge, big journey, and he finds out the thing that he was looking for was in the back garden all along. But that's an unteachable lesson. And the big lesson behind The Alchemist is going on a massive journey to end up back where you started is not the same as having never left. And this is what an unteachable lesson is. You have to go to the top of the mountain to get up there and go, oh, damn it. Damn it. Like I thought that was going to be the answer. But now that it's not, I can rid myself of that. I've crossed it off. And it's so unpopular. It's so unpopular to talk about this online because everybody that doesn't have a thing assumes that the thing will fix their problems and that the people who have got there, achieved it, and say that it didn't are ungrateful. Like, oh my God, the thing that I want, and they're just casting it away. Like, how dare you? How dare you say that the thing that I know I want isn't the answer to my problems? And yet, reliably, everybody that gets there says it's not the answer.
It's very true. I was thinking back to all the goals that I wrote in my diary at 18 years old, and then it's no surprise that I have none of those things now. They're all like material things and outcomes I was looking for, but...
Let me give you another one. A great question to reflect on. Knowing what I know now, what advice would I give myself 12 months ago?
Do you know what mine would be? Mine would be around prioritization. It would really be around saying no. Like we don't really teach, it goes back to what you're saying about adding and subtracting, but my life would be much better if I was even 10% better at saying no to things. It would be so much better. I'd be so much more successful. The upside isn't like 10% upside. It's like 50, 100% upside because of the compounding force of focus.
Okay, so that's what advice you would have given yourself 12 months ago knowing what you know now.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
It's almost certainly what you need to hear right now.
Yeah.
The big problems are the big problems. In the same way that you've got the feat that you had a decade ago, the big drivers psychologically for you tend to be the same throughout your life. I put other people's happiness ahead of mine. Maybe that showed up when I was a child and I didn't speak up to mum when I felt upset because I was worried that it would upset her. Maybe that happened when I got into my first job and I didn't advocate for myself when my boss was treating me poorly. Maybe that happens when I get into a relationship and I'm scared of making my needs known to my partner because I'm worried that they're going to reject me or think lesser of me. When it comes to my child, I'm terrified to discipline them because I need their love and I don't want them to make them upset. This is a single trend that's occurring throughout your life. And all of the time, one of the most common questions that people ask is, what would you tell yourself 10 years ago? Great question to ask, not because it's trite, but because it is almost always the very same thing that you need to hear right now.
What would you have said at 12 months ago?
Stop working so hard. Stop working so hard.
Consistent.
Take a day off. Take a day off. Take a day off per week. Put your phone down. Put your phone down. Go outside. Touch some grass. And it's the same thing now. It's the exact same thing now.
Do you think you're going to accomplish it?
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm trying, but behavioral design, I've got better. The one thing that I can say, and the beautiful thing about the end of your review, there are some resolutions which I decided on a decade ago that I still do now. And I think that's really cool. So when I'm faced with the opportunity to plan, because I gave myself a little bit of space, right? And it never happened. Very few of the habits that randomly appeared in the middle of July are ones that I've stuck with and I really care about. Bad ones, maybe accumulated bad habits in the middle of July. But most of the ones that I really love, that are very conscious, that are aligned with where I want to go, they're ones that I consciously designed, right? They're ones that were done purposefully. And that's always been around a review period. So yeah, end of the year is not special. But when else are you going to do it, right? When else are you going to do it? But yeah, 12 months ago and 10 years ago, I was doing the same thing, different industry, running nightclubs. Chill out, take a day off.
So what is this annual review template that I have in front of me?
At the end of each year, you need to have some sort of a format. If anyone wants to go and download it, they can go to chriswillx.com/review. It's totally free. They can just copy and paste it into their notes app of choice and then fill it in. I realized that this big question of it's the end of the year and I need to look back on it. I want to reflect on what went well and badly, and I want to plan my goals. Without a structure, you're just like cast out adrift, freewheeling everywhere, and you have no idea what to do. So there's a bunch of questions. Stuff like, how has this year gone? What went well? What went badly? And why? What lessons did I learn? What habit or system accounted for most of my success? What are the most valuable ways that I spend my time? How can I find more time for this? There's a section for memories. What was the best surprise, best meal, coolest new experience, my favorite new city, my favorite new friend? What was my favorite day or my most intense day? What was the best sex I had? What's my favorite quote and song and artist? And then there's a plan. What would I do this year if I wanted to make 85-year-old me miserable? What are the things I do to make my day go great? What do I think is productive that isn't? What is productive that I don't realize? Those are two big ones. Mm-hmm. And then there's some final thoughts. What would have had to have happened by the end of next year to look back and consider it a success? Who do I need to become for the next chapter of my life to go the way that I want? Knowing what I know now, what advice would I give myself 12 months ago? So for the people that are frantically taking notes, they can just go to chriswillx.com/review, and this is available for free.
You mentioned there that goals you set 10 years ago are still some of your most important today.
Mm-hmm.
What are those goals that you cherish the most?
Habits,
goals that you cherish the most, that you set out to accomplish 10 years ago?
So I reflected last year on the highest ROI resolutions that I've ever done. And what I think would be cool would be if people put the single best return on investment resolution that they've ever done in the comments, because that will create maybe the biggest repository of the highest value New Year's resolutions that anybody's ever had. And the best ones will get upvoted and the bad ones will be heavily criticized in the replies. So that could be kind of cool.
Okay, so that was an instruction, which means if you're listening right now, leave a comment below with the resolution you set yourself at any point in the past that returned the most for you in any area of your life.
You love it the most.
And if you agree with someone's, please hit the like button on their comment too. And this should create, as Chris says, a repository of the most impactful, highest ROI resolutions.
I think that's cool, dude. I want to do it. I want to know what everyone else's big resolutions are. So I'll give you mine.
Okay.
No phone in the bedroom at night. Charge it outside.
Interesting.
It's an instant 15% quality of life increase.
Why?
Because when you start your day, if you use your phone as your alarm, you roll over, you turn the alarm off, and immediately you're looking at your phone. You haven't got up, you haven't got moving, you're not hydrated, you're not seeing sunlight in your eyes. You are hit in the face by the world telling you what's happening, as opposed to you having a tiny little microcosm of peace, this little oasis for you. And I get it. People that have got young kids are hit in the face by the children, not by the phone. But even if you do, adding the phone and the scroll and everything else on top, that means you're not present with the kids. So even if the kids are a problem, you don't need to have the phone in there. You wake up. It means that you're always on the other side. The world is happening to you, you're not happening to the world. When you go to bed on a nighttime, you're going to be using your phone before you go to sleep, which means that you're going to cut into your sleep time. You're going to be in an environment digitally that's going to make yourself feel horrendous. It's not good. It's not good for sleep. Whether it's the blue light, there's a little bit of research that seems to say that it's not the blue light so much as it is the scroll sort of dopamine trigger, adrenal, intermittent schedule reward thing, that's the main issue of what's going on. But it also means if you can't sleep, you can just roll over and pick your phone up and now you're 2 hours into a YouTube scroll hole. That's who you truly are, by the way. People think that who you are is, your journal entries, your diary entries. No. Who you truly are the videos that you watch on YouTube between 10 p.m. and 12 p.m. at night when you can't sleep. That's who you really are. So getting your phone and putting it outside of the bedroom is no cost. There's no reason to not do it. The only reason to not do it is somebody needs to ring you or something like that. I get it. Maybe you've got kids that are out late and you need to make sure that they're okay in case some sort of catastrophe occurs. But really, there are very few excuses to not have it outside. Radio alarm clocks have existed for forever. Buy a radio alarm clock. Take your phone cable now and put it in the kitchen or put it in the living room or something. Or put it on the other side of the room, right? Because you don't want to wake up with no charge on your phone. It's the single biggest improves quality of sleep. It means that your mornings are better. It means that your nights are better. It means you're less distracted. It means you spend less time on your phone. You're forced to do something even tiny bit more productive, like watch Netflix or read a book or talk to your partner.
It's interesting because I was thinking about this through a 4-quadrant graph.
You've drawn a diagram.
Well, I'll throw it up on the screen, please, and make it look better, editing team, because nobody's going to be able, this is not coherent. But on one axis, you've got things that are low effort. And on the other axis, you've got things that are high return. And this is right up in the top right, which is like
Correct.
very low effort, high return.
Cost-free.
Habit. Yeah. Which is probably where one should aim most. But I imagine a lot of us are aiming at like high effort, low return.
Morning walk every day.
Okay.
Morning walk.
Slightly higher effort.
The research around this is fantastic. Humans obviously push this a lot, morning sunlight in your eyes. Even if you don't have the sun, even if you're somewhere dark and cold and wet, it doesn't matter. Getting up and doing ambulation, so walking through an environment while your eyes scan left and right, seems to tune down your fear response. It makes your amygdala just a little bit more calm. So regardless of whether, if there's sunlight, fantastic, that'll be even better. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And I know people have got structural limitations. This is me assuming that you've got like 20 minutes on a morning that you could slot this into. And if you're not waking up with your phone in your hand, that probably is the 20 minutes, right? Little walk, bit of fresh air, just get up, put your shoes on, get going, just get moving. You don't need to think. You don't need to do anything at all. Don't need to brush your teeth, get up and go. Probably need to go to the bathroom actually. Get up and go. No caffeine within 90 minutes of waking. Just push your caffeine a little bit later. It seems like the adenosine system isn't dominant during the first 90 minutes of the day. Your adrenal system is.
So adenosine is the receptors that deal with caffeine and tiredness.
Correct, and tiredness, exactly. And caffeine binds to it and it stops you from feeling tired. Salt acts on your adrenal system. So if you use some sort of electrolyte drink first thing in the morning, that will help to get that moving. But the main reason for this, regardless of the research, most people have a 1 p.m. slump, feel a little bit tired. And I think if you just push that caffeine a little bit later, just see if you can hold on. When you wake up, you should be okay-ish. Just the natural cortisol, you've gone for your little walk, here we are, the day's begun. Do you really need a coffee within 20 minutes of waking? Because that's what most people's first thing is. Just see what happens, test it. See what happens if you push it back by 90 minutes and see how you feel. At least for me, I know that works well. No alcohol for 6 months. This is a big one. This is much more high effort for a lot of people, even people that don't drink that much. Because a lot of the parties, and things that you attend are not superbly fun. And some people use alcohol in order to make their family or the wedding or the birthday a little bit more comfortable.
Social lubricant.
Correct. Yeah, of course. But if you take alcohol out for about 6 months, what it forces you to do is think, do I really want to go to that party? Or I'm actually having to anesthetize myself of the people that I'm around. Like, if you can only bear to be around your friends when you're drinking, that's probably not a good indication. And if your friends only want you to be around them when you're drinking, they're not friends, they're drinking partners. So I think alcohol's a big, I just like it. It just makes me have more fun. Hey, I get it. But I think if people look at it closely, they realize that they're using alcohol as a bit of a crutch. They're using it to bolster themselves in a way.
What's interesting is it's one of those areas where you don't understand the hidden cost until you really give it up for a while. And I think about my own relationship with drinking, and I stopped drinking at 30 years old. I'm now 33. And I had just drank because I just drank. I'd never ran the experiment of just giving it up for a while. And then like, I don't know, maybe I was at 31. I thought, I'll have a drink again. Because now I could really A/B test it. I had a year of not drinking, decided to have a drink again. It ruined 3 days of my life. I had a couple of glasses of wine, didn't get drunk. It ruined 3 days of my life because of the domino effect it caused. So it meant that I got worse sleep that night. And then because I got worse sleep that night, I ate more poorly the next day because my dopamine system or whatever, the cortisol system was all messed up.
That's resilience, yeah.
And then I podcasted worse. I didn't go to the gym the day after, that day or the day after because of that, because I felt really bad. I then slept worse, and I could track all of this on my Whoop, #ad, #sponsor, #investor, whatever.
Hey.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, those 3 glasses of wine had this hidden domino effect that I must have been living with for my whole life.
Dude, so many people want to build habits. They want to build meditation routine. They want to go to the gym more consistently. They want to improve their eating habits. They don't realize that the thing that's stopping them from doing that is sat at the bottom of the glass of wine that they have 4 nights a week. It's tough. Some people are able to do it and they don't mind. The cost-benefit ratio for some people is great. I'm just saying, try. Just try. Try 6 months. And the reason that you need to put an end date on it is that it's like running a race where you know that there's a finish line. If there's no finish line, it's really hard to run the race. How are you motivating yourself to get there? I think that 90 days would be the absolute minimum. 30 days isn't long enough. You need longer, right? And especially given that the hardest bit is the start, which means that you've paid all of the pain at the very beginning to not actually get any of the benefits of this being my new habit. Do it with an accountability buddy. Do it with your partner. Say, hey, I listened to those 2 British idiots talk about how not drinking might be a good idea. Why don't we do that? Why don't we try going sober until July? You haven't missed the summer, right? The summer's just about to kick in. So if you think, I can't wait to get back to drinking, you can have a beer in a beer garden. A huge proportion of people will not want to go back to drinking. They'll do it, take time off, get into it, and realize, I actually don't like this. I love the fact I got more reward from building good habits, from now having a meditation practice, from now getting up on time, from being able to go to the gym more. I've become more dependent on that than I ever was on the alcohol.
This is an idea. When we talk about habits and when we read these habit books, we're often aiming at like the 9th domino in a set of dominoes. And I was just thinking then, like, the conversation probably needs to start with what are like the foundational things? What is the first domino? Because we know from science that what I choose to eat is heavily impacted by my hormone balance today. And my hormone balance is impacted by my sleep, my emotional regulation, all these things. So a lot of people aim at domino number 9 and think, we'll change that one, having no idea that actually this is downstream from a set of other foundational decisions. And even as someone that sits here with scientists and experts all the time, if my like core state isn't good, the chance that I'm going to pick the right thing or go to the gym is extremely low.
Being smart is basically pointless unless you're at peace. Like, any amount of intelligence can be overridden by ego or insecurity or immorality or bad incentives or impatience or poor sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep is, as far as I can see, it's the pebble at the top of the avalanche. It's the gateway drug to everything else being horrendous. Your caffeine use is impacting your sleep. Your phone use is impacting your sleep. Your alcohol in an evening time is impacting your sleep. If you think that you drink in order to go to sleep, you're not sleeping, you're sedating yourself. Okay, so if we can sort the sleep out, how many other things open up? But you don't sort the sleep out. You sort the caffeine intake out, and you sort the nighttime phone use out, and you sort the drinking out. And then, oh my God, I've got all of this extra willpower. The thing that I thought was the issue, which was I kind of always feel a bit tired and sluggish in the morning, or I always want to eat salty foods around midday, or I always, I always just can't think too straight for the first couple of hours. It's like the problem might be hiding at the bottom of the glass.
We think the cause is actually a symptom. I just noticed this because when I changed a couple of core foundational things like exercise and sleep, everything was lubricated.
What's your highest ROI New Year's resolutions?
Oh, my highest ROI New Year's resolution was actually a change in a previous resolution. So my previous resolution in 2017 was I'm going to go to the gym every day. It ended up being a terrible resolution.
It's a horrendous resolution.
Yeah. So 2017, it was go to the gym every day. And I got about 4 or 5 months in, I missed a day, the resolution's done. Yeah. Because it was a completable resolution in an area of my life where I need an incompletable resolution. Right. So 2018, my resolution became consistency in the gym. Okay. And this is when everything changed. Because consistency is a goal I get a shot at every day, irrespective of what happened yesterday. And
I've got the rule. Let me give you the rule.
Okay.
This is from all of the habit stuff. James Clear's been on my show. I think he's been on your show too.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah. Best habit book of all time, Atomic Habits. Of all of the things, there's only 2 that have really, really, really stuck. This is the best rule when it comes to habits. Never miss 2 days in a row. Like, you are not going to be able to go to the gym every day. There will be one day when an absolute catastrophe occurs. You ate some dodgy sushi last night. You can't go. But what you have is 1 missed day is an error. 2 missed days is the start of a new habit. And it alleviates this all or nothing mentality that we all have. If you put a packet of biscuits in front of me and you, we say, you can have none of them or you can have all of them. Easy. Tell me to have 2 of them. Fuck you, dude. I'm not gonna have 2. No one has 2 biscuits, right? You have all of the biscuits or you have none of the biscuits. And that's kind of, humans are absolutist creatures. Like, think in extremes.
Yeah.
Gonna be super, super dialed in on my diet and it's gonna be great and I'm gonna get up and do my meditation and do the rest. Or I'm gonna go full degen mode and I'm partying and it's Ibiza and so on and so forth. Like, there is no middle ground really with this. And that means that small errors can snowball into complete demolitions of the habit. But if you just think, okay, at some point this year, I'm gonna miss it. And the rule is, if I missed it yesterday, I have to do it today. And that alleviates your issue, which was I cranked it for the first couple of months and then one day came in and I thought, ugh, and then the second day, and then I thought, well, this is just me now.
The other trap that I've noticed in that is one of my friends had great success with a new habit with going to the gym for like 3 or 4 months. He messages us in the group chat. He says, I finally cracked it. I finally figured out how to do this. And I said to him at the time, I said, listen, mate, like the best thought I've ever had that's made my habits be consistent is the realization that you never crack it. And actually thinking about the day when I fall off the horse and what my strategy is for getting back on the horse. Like being really, really cognizant of the fact that at some point I'm going to eat the sushi and it's going to fuck up my belly. or I'm going to be on a flight from Australia and I'm going to land and it's going to be midnight. And like having a strategy to get back on the horse and this just deep belief that you never crack any habit has been the single most important thing for me being consistent.
Yeah.
Because when it happens and I feel unmotivated and that guilt can creep in and say, you fucked it. I was expecting this.
Yes, of course. It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Yeah.
This was the price of entry. It's the cost of doing business, of trying to do behavior change, that it's not always going to work. Another great resolution, 10-minute walk after every meal.
Interesting.
Huge ROI, dude, crazy. So it's called a postprandial walk. And what it does is it helps to regulate glucose, it gets your blood sugar moving, your stomach, because of the contralateral movement of how your arms and your legs work, the muscles actually cross across your stomach, which helps you to digest food. You know this, you have a huge, big meal, you're having a great conversation, and you sit there and you're like, oh, I mean, this conversation's so great, but I feel awful. This sucks. If you just, after you go out for dinner, if you've got a lunch break from work, eat your food, 10-minute little walk. Again, I challenge people to do it and not say that it makes them feel really good. You go for dinner, you're with a friend, you're out with a partner, you're meeting somebody for the first time. Say, hey, why don't we have a little stroll? Sometimes it's going to be freezing outside, whatever. Do what you can. Let's go for a little stroll. It makes a huge difference. Huge difference.
What about matters of productivity? Do you think much about this? Because again, this time of year, people are thinking about procrastination, productivity. They're trying to get more done. They're trying not to doom scroll so much, be on Netflix, waste time. And I think a lot of the guilt does come from feeling like